I've got it. We're driving. It's there!
Give me your strength and show me your weakness. We're in this together now. We're in this together now. Give me your love and tell me your secrets. 'Cause we're in this together now. Yeah, we're in this together now.
Today I'm going to chat through my wedding dress and how it came about, because it was a little bit different. My dress was part secondhand, part handmade, and an absolute one of a kind. So it was a little bit different and it took quite a journey to get there. So if you're new here, I'm Laura, hello. And my partner proposed on Christmas. It was actually December 2020. And so it was during the pandemic. And so we knew about COVID. And I think that started the process a little bit difficultly anyway, because I was quite late in starting to try on dresses. Because literally, I couldn't. So it took me until kind of late summer 2021 to finally book in and go dress shopping. At the time, all I had done is had a little look on Pinterest. As everybody says, start your journey on Pinterest, see the dress that you like, you might even try and find some designers that you like. Which honestly I think is the worst advice ever, if I'm really honest, because that is exactly what I did. I went onto Pinterest and I started pinning lots of beautiful dresses and getting super excited, and I tried to find some of the designers. Typically, those designers were the top wedding dress designers like Monique Lehillier and Berta, lots of others that basically started at like the £10,000 up to $20,000 for a wedding dress, which is quite a bit out of my budget. My budget did change quite a lot through the process. It started, I thought, at a very healthy £2,000, and I laugh because I really thought that was a lot of money for a wedding dress, but apparently not. And I know a lot of people can do it on a budget, and you can get ASOS dresses for $70 for a wedding, and so many people do it. But if you want that experience of going into a wedding dress shop and getting a like semi-well-known designer, then you're looking actually more like, I'd say, at least 3,000 to 3,500. So I very quickly jumped from 2,000 to 3,500 after looking on Pinterest, feeling a little bit deflated, then looking at a few shops locally to me. So I started in Sassy Holford, and that was the first place where I really got that indication on price. I was looking for a semi-specific dress. I knew that I wanted A-line. I really wanted it to feel like a classic, timeless wedding dress. And the dresses that are A-line have more material, therefore they are more expensive. I also wanted a bit of sleeves, so you're paying a bit more for the fabric basically. If you're wanting a slip dress, one of those gorgeous slinky ones, if that's your kind of style, it's probably a lot easier to find something in a cheaper price bracket. I actually had a really wonderful experience at Sassy Holford, but it was the first one that I went into and I tried on all different styles, not just A-line, and I left not really knowing what I wanted and still feeling like I needed to search, but it was probably one of my favourite places that I went. I then went to quite a few which weren't such a good experience. One, I just walked into and looked around the shop and immediately knew that there was nothing there for me to try on. The most difficult thing with wedding dress shops, and I just don't understand, is that they don't have the stock online, so you can't always see what you're going to be turning up to. You're paying for the appointment, so it's at least £30, more like £50 per hour to go in there. You get an hour's appointment, and in that time you usually can try on 3 to 4 dresses. So really it's not very many. And online, there is no indication of the price of the dress. Nothing. It's not like you're shopping on a normal retailer where you can see all the dress prices. It's just like models walking on the catwalk. And so I got into it, I think, a little bit blindly. Also, I didn't have any friends that had got married, so I really, or family. At this point, I was the first one to get married, so no experience. I'd say I probably should calculate, and I'll try and put the actual number, but I feel like I went to maybe 5 different wedding dress shops and tried on a real variety of dresses. It's quite overwhelming because if, like me, I actually have a few different styles. I feel I'm quite classic and feminine, but I can also have like this relaxed look to me too. So I didn't know quite where I was going to sit on that scale. And I think the fact of the matter, and one of the main things that I learned, is that there isn't this one dress. Some people have it. Some people have that moment where everybody's crying and it's like, this is the one. But realistically, that might not happen for you, and that's okay. It didn't happen for me, and I'm glad, because it made me go down this other route. Just before I get into the other route, I had tried on quite a few dresses now. I'll hopefully be popping up some pictures of ones that I tried on, and I basically got to a point where I knew a designer that I liked. I really was favouring the Susie Neville dresses. She does these amazing corsets which pull you in and make you look amazing. So I was really liking her style of dresses. I tried one on more locally, but didn't like the shop, so decided to go to the flagship in London. What I didn't realise about the flagship in London is that the exact same dress was more money in the flagship in London. Now, I think that's because they make it from scratch in the one in London, and then not with all of the boutiques, but literally same dresses, more expensive. So I already got there, and my price bracket was just like literally ching, 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 ching. And I had left with this dress, which I was narrowing down on and was really beautiful, but it was like a square neckline and it had a long, quite thick sleeve, and I was getting married in Italy, so I knew that I wanted a shorter sleeve, something a little bit more flowy so that it wouldn't be so hot. And they said, yep, that's fine. But I left with a card with a price, and it was around the £6,000 mark. That is with all the alterations. So a lot of these dresses that you're seeing in other shops don't have the alterations, but not with any accessories. So like shoes, veil, hair accessories, jewelry. That was literally just the dress. And I'll be honest, I went away and I thought about it. Like, I went away and I thought about it. I did, however, have many sleepless nights. Could I have afforded it? Yeah, I could have gone ahead and got that dress for my wedding. Was it a sensible buy? No. And then my last added pressure was that 2022 has been the busiest year for brides, and 2021 was the hardest year, I think, for looking, because there was a lot of pressure in the shops. And I got an email saying that the Susie Neville warehouse was basically stopping making dresses for 2022. They were full, and if I wanted that dress, it had to be ordered there and then. And I couldn't do it. I literally couldn't do it. As much as I was like, I don't know if I have another option, I couldn't do it. Maybe if it hadn't been my dream dress and I'd have tried it on exactly with the sleeve, then I would have felt more comfortable spending that money. But would I have ever? I really don't know. So I went to my plan B. Now, my biggest advice if you are looking for a dress is check out Still White. Probably my favourite website from all of this experience, even if you're not looking for a secondhand dress, because you can get a really, really good price indication, because the seller puts the original price of the dress and then the deduction and then the price that they would like to sell it for. So like I was saying at the beginning, you have no idea of the prices of dresses. If you've seen a dress online that you like, if you've seen a designer that you like, if you follow them on Instagram, you really love them, you can type their name into the search bar and you can see lots of dresses and figure out a kind of price range of what the dresses that you like might be. So I was using it as a bit of like resource anyway, but I started searching for a Susie Neville dress, and I really was quite specific on the skirt that I wanted. I wanted the same skirt with the lovely plain silk material in the A-line. On the top I was a little bit more open, but I was looking for something without a sleeve, because my plan was to make a top or a full overlay to go over what I was going to be calling the base of a dress. So it had the beautiful bones of a designer dress, and then I would make something to go over it. And I actually found a few dresses that I liked and happened to start messaging a few of them, one of which it said that she was based in London, and it turned out that she was based in Bath, Somerset. And I thought, well, what a coincidence. And I really wanted to jump on that because there weren't that many that were based around me that I could go and physically see. So it was literally December the 20th and I hopped in the car with Ollie and I went to see the dress. I'm feeling the nerves. In fact, I'm feeling really nervous. It's the 20th of December. This morning, I went into a stranger's house to look at a wedding dress, and now I'm picking it up. My heart is like literally pounding a little bit.
You're so nervous, aren't you?
Yeah, I do feel nervous, but I think it's just more like the situation is a little bit different to the normal experience of picking up a wedding dress, but also I just don't like this kind of thing. Whenever we go and pick up something on like Facebook
Gumtree
Marketplace,
or...
yeah, it's always a little bit intimidating, and it's always a little bit like, oh, I know I'm doing this on my own. My mum's been with me to every dress appointment, but I really wanted to get this done today. Obviously, Ollie's not seeing the dress, so he didn't come in with me. And yeah, I'm literally gonna go and get it, give this lady £350 and put it in the boot and
cover it in bin bags, because we don't have anything else to cover it up with.
We've literally bought some bin bags to just so that Ollie, I mean, he knows I'm getting a white dress, but
It's white.
just to, you know, so that he can't see anymore.
So I can't see it.
How do you feel? Do you feel nervous for me?
I feel nervous for... I think, selfishly, I feel nervous that tonight you're probably going to go home and
I'm going to want to like faff
you're gonna go
around
and
with it.
try it on
yeah.
and mess around upstairs
Yeah.
with the door shut. I think I'm nervous selfishly for the fact that it might not feel that good tonight.
Yeah, this could end in two ways. I could be in like floods of tears tonight being like, what have I done? I shouldn't have done this. Or I could be like, yes.
Excellent decision.
Excellent decision.
So I think
yeah.
I'm just preparing myself for the worst.
Yeah. And Ollie doesn't really know anything, so really this video is for him. But anyway, I better go and pick up my dress.
So how do you want to do this? Do you want to...
Yeah, the logistics we don't quite know.
I guess you need to come from the back.
Yeah.
Because if I see you
probably.
walking up this road with it, I'm going to see it.
It's just like a white blob. I mean...
Do you want to take a couple of bin bags
I'm
with
going to
you?
have it like folded over my arm.
Yeah,
as
yeah,
well.
but do you want to take a couple of bin bags with you so you can actually put it in the... So like, stuff it up inside and hide it?
I don't think so, no. I don't want to put bin bags next to the dress. Oh, wow. Okay. Anyway, we're going to sort the logistics.
I don't know how I feel about you coming up the street though and me seeing you...
Well, you can park down close to the house. We're not by the house right now because I thought it might be a bit weird that
Okay.
we're talking to the camera and I just wanted a bit of like time. Yeah.
Well, no, I think I'm here now, so I'll stay
Okay.
here.
See you later. When I've got the dress.
Good luck. I love you.
Sorry that it's so dark. I've got it. We're driving. It's there! What have I done?
Today is January the 5th. It's a gloomy day, but today I'm getting started on the dress. I did try it on after we got back and I was happy, pretty happy, but then the madness of Christmas and New Year happened and I just didn't get round to getting my little hands on it, which is what I want to do today. I've been looking forward to this day for so long. I just want to get it out and kind of experiment with what I may want to do with it. So here she is, what will be the base of my dress. So this is a Susie Neville dress from her 2017 collection and it is second hand, so a lady has worn this. I picked it up from her house. She actually didn't wear it for her wedding ceremony, she only wore it for the reception, so afterwards, so she was literally in it only for a few hours. And though she was 5'5", she wore 6-inch Jimmy Choo's shoes and also didn't have the hem taken up. So thankfully I've got a lot of hem to be able to take up. So even though the bottom, you can see there, it's kind of, I could get this out in dry cleaning, I'm pretty sure, but most of that is going to be cut off anyway. And I think actually I need about that much cut off. I'm 5'6". I'm not going to be wearing super huge heels. And this one is pretty long on me, as I'll show you. I'm pretty much half in at the moment, but this gives you a bit of an overview of the look of the dress. If I come a little bit closer, you can see here where it is just slightly too big for me on the bodice area. And it's hard to tell, I haven't done it up at the back there, but you can also see where I've like pretty much pulled in the bodice as much as I possibly can, and it's still that little bit too big. Oh, it's so dark today. I really wish it was brighter so that you could fully see it. But it has the most beautiful skirt. A lot of layers at the moment. Oh, you can't see. Let me try and put it back even further. I can't really see from all the way back here, but at the moment I've got too much room here. But I love the flowiness and the material of this bottom bit here. It's exactly what I imagined for that like whimsical Lake Como romantic wedding dress. However, the lady that had it previously to me had a lot of layers put in, So I love all of these beautiful layers here, but right here she had additional, I mean, I don't even know what you would even call this, but she had additional poof put in. And I'm actually going to be taking this out because as much as I do want a like semi-princessy, like I really wanted it to be a wedding dress. I wanted to feel like a bride. I also don't want too much of this. I want it to just be floaty and beautiful. Now I'm saying me, but I'm definitely getting an experienced seamstress to take in this dress and take it up. I just want to make sure that I know exactly what I want to do with the design. Anyway, I'm hoping to try and take this off now. I've got the dress upside down, lying on the floor in front of me here. And this will be the first little thing I do to it. I mean, thankfully this is right underneath and nobody will see it if I go dramatically wrong, but let's hope I don't. Well, that was a lot quicker than I thought. Gone! Actually looking at it, I think my next step will actually be the seamstress, because all of this is obviously entwined into the bodice, into the side here, and the seamstress is going to have to open up the dress along this middle seam of the bust anyway, which is where the lace is going into. So it doesn't quite make sense for me to open it up, put it back together, and then get it taken in. I just don't know whether to get it dry cleaned before or after now, but I think probably I'll get it dry cleaned after, so I'll have some work done to it before. Obviously this is very much a step-by-step process, but I think I'm going to have to overlook the lace for now and start working on the sleeve that I want. That's something that I really want to decide on, because finding a dress with a sleeve was one of the hardest things. So I want to decide exactly what sleeve I want. As well, because it's a hot wedding, I really love these long sleeves, but I didn't want to feel too hot on the day. So I think I'm going to leave the lace on and try it with the tulle over there on the bodice. Well, I didn't get so far on day one. I got one little bit of a sleeve done and not on the other side. I'm still not sure on the neckline, so I kept it high for the moment, but it's really nice to be able to kind of visualize it with a little bit of a sleeve. I do want that kind of maybe a little bit more dramatic puff sleeve. I'm not sure yet, but so far I'm actually quite enjoying it, and it's lovely to see it. Can't see that, but it's lovely to see it with the, you know, you've got to have a bit of creative imagination here now to imagine the sleeve, especially, sorry, it's getting dark already, but I'm going to be going through a number of different sleeves. I do think that I want a puff sleeve, but whether I go for something longer, something much shorter and capped, something that actually properly poofs, so obviously it won't look like this, but maybe something a bit more like that. Just experimenting. That's my squeeze. That's my toes squeaking on the wooden floor there, but kind of exciting. This might not work, but I think I was originally thinking of going with a sweetheart neckline like that, doing potentially a bit like that, like a few ruffles coming down here and a bit of a sleeve. So to summarise that, and in hope that I'm not going to make this video really long, I bought a second-hand dress that I was hoping to use as a base and make a top or skirt or both a full overlay to go over it to make it feel a little bit more me. I was thinking at this point of having a seamstress definitely take in the dress, but I was wondering whether I could do the overlay. I did have a little look around though, and I found somebody who I really liked based in Cornwall. And I was in discussion with her up until a point when unfortunately we had real trouble with our venue, and I just stopped everything. At this point, we didn't know whether the wedding was going to go ahead. It was all a bit questionable as to what was going to go on, and I then didn't vlog, unfortunately, and I didn't pick the dress back up until much later. I did take the base dress to an alterations lady called Susie Marie, and she started altering the dress, and at this point that was that. I was just going to have it taken in, and I didn't really know what was going to go on. This was at least March, if not quite a bit later, because the thing with the venue happened in March. And then it must have, I have to try and like look up the date. All of this happened very close to the wedding, bearing in mind the date of our wedding was the 11th of July. So very last minute, I was talking with the seamstress and she said that she could do some kind of overlay for me in time, which I was like, really? Like, it's very last minute now. And she designed me, we like, I did a little sketch first and then she sent back a sketch of a dress and I was like, that's it. And the plan was to make an overlay. We went back and forth a little bit, we had conversation. The experience was dreamy. I so enjoyed when I was just going to the alterations. She was just like so calming and I felt like I was in really good hands. So I immediately knew that this experience was probably going to be quite good, and it was such a lovely process to design my own dress. It literally was one of a kind. Sorry the door went, but Susie started designing my dress and she did a mock-up first. So the bodice was the most important part to get it fitting right. Obviously the skirt was just going over the original skirt and didn't have much design to it. But she really got my shape so that it was fitting beautifully. And we did a V at the front and a V at the back, keeping the silk buttons where the kind of like bodice was of the underneath of the dress. I loved the back of the dress. I really wanted a puff sleeve because that is just something that I love and it's so me. Originally though, I did have long sleeves and I was going to have, I love like when the sleeve is tight on the wrist and it has all the gorgeous buttons, but I think it was mid-June, so under a month until the wedding, and I went for a fitting and it was like a freak heat wave and it was really hot and I was boiling in the dress and I really worried because I was thinking Italy's going to be much hotter than this. And last minute, Susie was like honestly fabulous. I couldn't recommend her highly enough. I asked if we could cut the sleeve shorter and have it just like scrunched where my elbow was, and she very calmly said yes and totally delivered. So I wouldn't have got a chance then to see what the sleeve would look like or amend it, but she did a fabulous job, and in the end I was like, this was totally meant to be my sleeve. Like, I loved it more than the original where it had the long sleeve. Also toyed with whether the dress would slip over the original dress or whether she'd sew it to the dress, and in the end she decided to sew it to the dress so it kept its place, and I had a really simple band going around the middle too, and it was just totally bespoke and one of a kind made for me. I was thrilled with how it turned out. Yes, maybe it wasn't the quality or the style of a £20,000 dress, but it was a fraction of the price. So my dress came in under £1,000, which I know is still a lot of money, but that was alterations and everything included because obviously I had it all done at once. And for a silk dress with that quality fabric, so the fabric that was used for the overlay too was silk. It was beautiful, it felt beautiful. It looked like a much more expensive dress, I think anyway. I'm the bride, I'm probably going to say that. But I mean, whole experience wise, I would really recommend if you're thinking of going outside the box or doing something different. It did not bother me in the teeniest, tiniest bit that the dress underneath had been worn by somebody. It actually really bugs me that people leave their dresses upstairs in the attic just to like rot. Like, I don't know why, let somebody else wear it. I think it is really hard to sell them on though. But the one thing that I really toyed with the whole experience was this heirloom piece that I would pass down to my family and maybe even my children would try on or wear. And when I was really thinking about it, I was like, oh, realistically, are they gonna want it? My mum did have her wedding dress for me to try on, but she told me she like wanted to sell it and she did try and sell it, but she just wasn't able to. And I did have a piece of her dress and Ollie's Gran's dress. They both had a little blue bow, which I had sewn into my dress as like a little sentimental thing, but you want your own dress when you get to it. So I decided to, this has been the most rambly thing ever. I put that money into my wedding earrings, which I am wearing now. I decided to go for diamonds instead of a wedding dress, something that truly is an heirloom piece and I can pass down to my children. I do want to say here though that the earrings that I have, one of them was for my 30th birthday and one of them was for the wedding dress, so they are worth more than the money that I saved. And also, to be really transparent, I do have family in the jewellery trade so that they could get me cost price diamonds at a really good price. So I invested it in something that I would get my worth, and I know that that's not necessarily helpful for you guys because you might not be able to do it to the same extent. But I actually had them designed so that they had a drop pearl on them, and that's how I wore them on the day, so that these can be transformed and have the pearl on them. But then I can also wear them every day just with like as a stud diamond. They twinkled insanely on the night, and I'm sure my kids will be glad that I chose the diamonds over the dress in the end. Anyway, was that the most rambly story about my wedding dress? It was a little bit different. I know it's probably not everybody's cup of tea, and I totally get that because I tried on so many dresses that I didn't like, and at the end of the day, it's one day. It's a few hours of that dress, and I am not quite sure what I'm going to do with my dress now. It's not going to sit in the attic. I'm wondering, I'd like to give it to charity. I'd like to give, I've also got the bridesmaid dresses, which I'd like to give to charity or somebody in need. If any of you know some really good companies, I don't know the best way to do it, or even whether to auction it off and give that money to charity, because then the charity definitely gets the money. Let me know, what do you think the best thing to do with the dress? Thanks for coming on the journey and listening to me ramble on, and I will see you in the next one.